You've worked your entire life. You saved, you planned, you followed the rules. And now, as retirement begins, or gets closer, you still wonder, do I have enough? Will I be safe? You're not alone. Food, gas, and medicine cost more than ever. Even if inflation is slowing, many seniors feel the squeeze. The truth is, enough isn't a number. It's a feeling of peace. In this video, we'll define what enough really means and walk through 7 practical ways to feel secure in retirement, even during crisis. You've earned rest. Let's help you feel safe while enjoying it. 1. Focus on monthly cash flow, not net worth. So many people entering retirement feel this quiet, lingering fear. I don't know if I have enough. It's a question that doesn't always have a clear answer, and the financial world often doesn't help. Everywhere you turn, there's some expert telling you that you need $1 million to retire, or that you're behind if your net worth doesn't match some arbitrary chart. But the truth is, most people don't live based on their net worth. They live based on what's coming in and what's going out each month. What really matters, especially now, is your monthly cash flow. That's where peace of mind begins. Imagine this. Every month, you receive $1,800 from Social Security. Maybe you have a small pension of $700. On top of that, you might be getting $250 from a retirement account or annuity. That gives you $2,750 a month. Now, think about your real expenses. Maybe you pay $800 in housing costs, $250 for utilities and internet, $500 for food, $300 for medications, and another $200 for gas and car needs. You're looking at about $2,050 in spending. Now here's where the power is. With those numbers, you're actually living with a $700 cushion every month. That might not sound like much to someone on the outside, but for a retiree with a stable routine and manageable needs, it can mean the world. It's not about how big your savings account is. It's about whether your monthly income supports the life you live, and whether that support feels steady, reliable, and enough. When you start looking at your life through that lens, something shifts. You stop chasing after big numbers and start noticing that you may already have what you need. Of course, if your income and expenses are too close for comfort, there are adjustments that can be made, maybe not all at once, but gently over time. The point is not to fear the numbers, but to understand them. Also, monthly income like Social Security or a pension brings a kind of emotional safety that stock market investments often don't. A big investment account can rise and fall, but knowing exactly what comes in every month gives you a deeper kind of peace. When you focus on monthly cash flow, you're not just managing money. You're building confidence. You're telling yourself, I know what I need, I know what I have, and I can handle this. That shift alone can turn fear into calm. And calm in this stage of life is a kind of wealth all its own. Simplify your lifestyle, but enrich your days. There's a quiet power in simplicity, not the kind that feels like sacrifice, but the kind that feels like freedom. In uncertain times, when prices rise and every dollar feels more precious, many older adults find that living simply doesn't mean giving up comfort. In fact, it often creates more of it. Let's look at how that can show up in everyday life. Take your monthly expenses. Many retirees are still paying for full cable packages, sometimes close to $200 a month, even though they only watch a few favorite channels. Switching to internet-only service and using free streaming platforms like Pluto TV or Tubi can easily cut that bill in half or more. And you don't lose your connection to the world. You just get it more affordably. The same goes for eating out. Maybe it used to be something you did every week. These days, just a few meals out can cost you $100 or more a month. But if you keep 2 of those meals as special outings and shift the rest to home-cooked meals, not only are you saving money, you're often eating healthier too. It's not about giving things up. It's about choosing which things truly matter to you now. Even when it comes to medications, A little attention can make a big difference. So many people overpay simply because they've always gone to the same pharmacy. But services like GoodRx or Medicare-approved mail-order programs can cut costs dramatically. And when you're on a fixed income, those savings can go right back into the things that nourish your life. Then there's the grocery bill. We all want to eat well. But where you shop matters. Stores like Aldi or Walmart often have the exact same items for much less than specialty grocery chains. Add in digital coupons or senior discounts, and you might find an extra $50 to $100 in your budget each month without changing your meals at all. All of this points to one deeper truth. You don't need to live with less joy to live with less expense. Simplicity doesn't mean doing without. It means doing with intention. It means spending where it counts, cutting where it doesn't, and building a lifestyle that supports your peace, not your pressure. And when you create that kind of lifestyle, one that's lighter, clearer, and more aligned with what you truly care about, your days naturally become richer. Maybe that means taking daily walks instead of driving. Maybe it's rediscovering the local library, joining a small group at the community center, or just sitting outside with a good book and a cup of coffee. When you stop spending energy on things that no longer bring meaning, you start noticing the things that do. Your time becomes more your own. Your routines become gentler. You create space for peace, connection, and joy, not just survival. And in retirement, those are the things that make you feel safe, not just because your bills are paid, but because your heart feels full. 3. Build a peace of mind fund, not just an emergency fund. There's a certain kind of worry that creeps in when you're living on a fixed income. It doesn't shout, it whispers. What if the air conditioner breaks in the middle of summer? What if the car won't start and you need to get to a doctor's appointment? What if an unexpected dental bill shows up and Medicare doesn't cover it? These aren't just hypothetical fears. They're the kinds of real-life disruptions that can throw off an entire month, or even several. That's why, for retirees, one of the most powerful forms of security is having a small fund set aside, not just for emergencies, but for peace of mind. Some people hear the term emergency fund and feel pressure. It sounds big, stressful, like something they should have built decades ago. But a peace of mind fund? That's different. That's something you build quietly, slowly, and intentionally, not out of fear, but out of self-respect. This fund doesn't need to be large. For most retirees, just $1,500 to $3,000 can make a significant difference. That amount is enough to fix a major appliance, cover a surprise medical bill, or handle a last-minute car repair without sending you into panic or debt. The key is to separate this money from your regular checking account. Put it in a savings account you don't touch, maybe even at a different bank. Think of it like a safety cushion between you and life's little shocks. Even if you can only add $50 or $75 a month, it adds up faster than you think. And it's not just the money. It's what the money represents. It's control. It's breathing room. It's knowing that when something unexpected happens, and it will, you're not thrown into crisis. You have choices, you have time, you have space to respond instead of react. Many seniors don't want to think about emergencies. It brings up fear or memories of times when things fell apart. But reframing this as a peace of mind fund changes the entire conversation. It's not about expecting the worst. It's about preparing gently so that the unexpected doesn't have to undo your sense of safety. And there's something powerful about watching that small account grow. It's a quiet reminder that you're still building something, still taking care of yourself, still creating stability in a world that often feels unpredictable. Having this kind of buffer doesn't just help financially. It helps emotionally. It helps you sleep better. It helps you feel less alone when things go sideways. It helps you trust yourself again. That's what this stage of life is about. Not trying to control everything, but giving yourself the tools to handle what comes next with grace. And sometimes, all it takes is one small account, quietly growing in the background to help you breathe easier every single day. Number 4. Redefine retirement as a new kind of work, taking care of you. For decades, you worked hard. You showed up for others, your job, your family, your community. You made sacrifices, pushed through exhaustion, and put yourself last more times than you can count. So when retirement arrives, there's often a strange question that lingers in the background. Now what? Some people imagine retirement as endless rest. Others fear it might become a long stretch of boredom or disconnection. But what if we looked at retirement not as an end and not as escape, but as a new kind of work? What if this season of life became the time when your full-time job is finally taking care of you? That doesn't mean filling every hour with activity or productivity. It means building a rhythm, a gentle structure that supports your physical health, your mental well-being, and your emotional peace. It means creating days that feel nourishing, not empty. Start with your mornings. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything else. Maybe it's waking up slowly, drinking warm water, stepping outside for fresh air and moving your body just a little. A walk around the block, a few stretches, something that tells your body, you matter. Then think about meals. Retirement gives you the gift of time, something you didn't have much of before. Preparing simple meals at home isn't just about saving money. It's a form of care. Feeding yourself well is an act of love, and sharing meals, even occasionally with a neighbor or a friend, turns something ordinary into something sacred. Your week can hold simple anchors: a library visit, a phone call with a friend, a puzzle on the table, a volunteer shift at the local center, even just twice a month. These are not chores. These are investments in connection and movement, in meaning. It's also important to care for your mental and emotional self. Retirement can bring up a lot of feelings: loss of identity, grief over time past, anxiety about the future. But tending to those feelings is part of your new work too. Maybe that's through journaling, gentle meditation, prayer, or even speaking with a counselor. These are not signs of weakness. They're signs of strength and wisdom. When you shift your mindset in this way, everything changes. You no longer see yourself as someone who has nothing to do. You begin to see that you're building a life, one that values slowness, reflection, and joy. You reclaim purpose, not in the form of pressure, but in the form of presence. Retirement is not about becoming less. It's about becoming more you. And for the first time, maybe in a long time, you get to ask yourself, what makes me feel good today? What supports my energy, my peace, my spirit? The answers to those questions aren't found in bank accounts or stock portfolios. They're found in your kitchen, your body, your neighborhood, your heart. This is your new work, not measured in dollars or deadlines, but in how gently and lovingly you treat yourself. And just like any meaningful job, it deserves your time, your care, and your full attention. 5. Create a flexible spending plan that supports your real life. For many retirees, the word budget brings discomfort. It can feel restrictive, stressful, or even shaming, especially if money already feels tight. But there is a gentler and more realistic approach that works far better in retirement: a flexible spending plan. This kind of plan is not about controlling every dollar. It is about understanding where your money naturally goes and giving yourself permission to spend with intention, not guilt. Retirement life is not perfectly predictable. Some months are calm. Others come with surprises. Your plan should be able to bend without breaking. Start by thinking about your spending in broad groups, rather than exact numbers. There are the expenses you must cover to feel secure, like housing, food, utilities, transportation, insurance, and medications. These form the foundation of your month. When these needs are covered, your nervous system relaxes. You feel grounded. Then there is spending that adds enjoyment and meaning. This might include small gifts for grandchildren, lunch with a friend, hobbies, or a short local trip. These expenses are not wasteful. They are part of living, and cutting them completely often leads to resentment or sadness. Finally, there is money set aside for the unexpected. Not emergencies exactly, but things that do not happen every month. A medical co-payment, a home repair, a higher utility bill during extreme weather. Knowing that you have space for these moments helps you stay calm when they arrive. A flexible spending plan respects your humanity. It understands that you are not a machine. Some months you may spend more, and that is okay. Other months, you naturally spend less. The goal is awareness, not perfection. When you review your spending once a week or once a month, do it gently. Ask yourself what felt worth it and what did not. Over time, your choices become clearer. You begin to spend less on things that do not truly matter and more on what supports your well-being. This approach builds trust between you and your money. Instead of fear, there is cooperation. Instead of pressure, there is clarity. And that clarity helps you feel safe, even when the world feels uncertain. 6. Strengthen social connections. Because loneliness is expensive, money worries are not only about dollars. Very often, they are deeply connected to loneliness. As people age, social circles naturally shrink. Friends move away, health changes, partners pass on, and daily interaction becomes more limited. What many do not realize is that isolation has a real cost, both emotionally and financially. When people feel lonely, stress increases, sleep worsens, health declines, doctor visits become more frequent, medications increase. Over time, this can quietly raise medical expenses and reduce quality of life. Connection, on the other hand, is one of the most powerful forms of prevention available. Strengthening social ties does not require a busy schedule or a large group of friends. It starts with small, consistent contact. A weekly phone call with someone you trust, a regular visit to the library or senior center, a short conversation with a neighbor. These moments may seem simple, but they create emotional stability. Community spaces exist for a reason. Senior centers, public libraries, faith-based groups, and local volunteer programs offer connection without pressure. Many provide free or low-cost activities designed specifically for older adults. Showing up once a week can change how the rest of your days feel. Connection also creates informal support. When you know people, you are more likely to ask for help and more likely to receive it. A ride to an appointment. Advice about a local service. Emotional support during a difficult week. These things reduce stress and help you avoid costly decisions made from panic. There is also something deeply reassuring about being seen. When someone knows your name, your story, and your routine, you feel less alone in the world. That sense of belonging is a form of safety money cannot buy. In retirement, wealth is not only measured by savings. It is measured by relationships, by shared laughter, by knowing that if something goes wrong, you are not facing it entirely on your own. Investing in connection may not show up on a bank statement, but it pays dividends every day. It protects your health, steadies your emotions, and reminds you that even in difficult times, you are still part of something larger. And that feeling alone can make life feel not just manageable, but meaningful. 7. Redefine what enough means. Choose peace over perfection. At some point in life, especially in retirement, it becomes clear that chasing perfection only leads to exhaustion. You've spent decades trying to get it all right, save enough, plan enough, prepare enough. But the truth is, no matter how careful we are, the world changes. Prices rise, plans shift. Health takes turns we didn't expect, and if we measure enough by perfection, we will never feel safe. This is why one of the most powerful choices you can make now is to redefine what enough really means, not by numbers, but by peace. Peace does not come from a perfect retirement portfolio. It comes from knowing your basic needs are met and that you are doing your best day by day. It comes from giving yourself permission to breathe, even if your accounts are not where you hoped they would be. And it comes from accepting that feeling behind is often a story we tell ourselves, one that was never fully true to begin with. You see, the financial world often sells fear. It tells us we are not prepared unless we hit certain milestones. But life is not a formula. Life is full of resilience, adaptation, and surprise. You've made it this far, not by being perfect, but by being resourceful. That is worth more than any financial model. So what does peace look like in real life? It looks like writing down 3 things you're grateful for each morning, even if they're small. It looks like remembering how many challenges you've already overcome. It looks like recognizing that your needs today may be different than they were 10 years ago, and that's okay. Peace comes from shifting your focus. Instead of asking, "Do I have what others say I should have?" you begin to ask, "Do I have enough to live well today?" Most of the time, the answer is yes. Not perfect, but enough. Enough to eat well, enough to sleep in peace, enough to enjoy the breeze on your front porch, or a conversation with someone who cares. Enough to make one small plan for tomorrow. When you stop chasing someone else's version of success, you begin to build your own. And that success is rooted in calm, gratitude, connection, and trust, not just in money, but in yourself. Retirement is not a test. It is a new chapter. And enough in this chapter does not need to impress anyone. It only needs to support the life you want to live, with steadiness, intention, and grace. Let the pressure to be perfect fall away. Let peace take its place. You've earned that right. And more than that, you deserve it. So maybe you've asked yourself, like so many others have, do I really have enough to retire and feel safe? And now, maybe you're starting to realize that enough isn't just a number. It's a feeling. It's the quiet knowing that you can meet your needs, live your days with dignity, and rest at night without fear. You don't need to chase someone else's standard. You don't need to compare your life to charts, calculators, or perfect plans. You've come through a lifetime of change, and you're still here, still standing, still showing up for yourself. And that means something. If this message brought you a little peace today, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. What does enough mean to you? How have you found peace in uncertain times? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you'd like more conversations like this, calm, clear, honest, feel free to subscribe. We're building a space here for people who've lived long enough to know that wisdom doesn't always come from noise. Sometimes it comes from quiet truth. Take good care of yourself. You've earned that peace, and you're not alone.